Hi, my name is Pietro Valente, my main class is drummer, and I'm from the Italian server. I strongly believe that playing music is the best game ever. Here are some reasons why. The products of this game are some of the most inspiring forms of art in the world. It has the largest player base across every server, counting over 10% of the population, and the highest rate of pro players making a living out of it. Most parents won't complain even if you play many hours a day, and they are right, because playing music is very good for the brain. There is scientific evidence of music being one of the games that makes the most use of the brain, especially when improvisation mode is activated. Playing music is currently available with the release 4.5. Let's take a quick look on how the game evolved. The first beta release was initially available in the prehistoric times, when human players started to experiment with voice, hitting different objects to produce sound, and blowing on carved animal bones. Indeed, singers, percussionists and flutists have been the first three playable classes in the game. The release 1.0 was launched at the dawn of major civilization, with the invention of a greater variety of instrumentation. In particular, string instruments, reed instruments, the appearance of the first pro players in the game, and brass instruments. With version 2.0, the orchestra was introduced together with a buff of strings, keyboard, brass, and reed instruments. Release 3.0 featured the crucial technological advancement of music recording, the drum set, radio, TV, long play, electric instruments, amplification, and tape cassettes. The 4.0 revolution started with spreading of digital technology, CD, MIDI, internet, social network, and smartphones, which is the current 4.5 release available today. Okay, time for a walkthrough on how the game starts. You can spawn on one of 6 different servers. Every server have his own advantages and disadvantages. Many players complain that some servers are OP because it's easier to get coins and have access to private teaching and music colleges. But it's also true that the devs with recent patches 4.3 and 4.4 made knowledge and skills point much easier to obtain by free players too. The mechanic is far from being balanced, but the situation is improving. Indeed, in the last decade, we've seen many excellent players coming from every server. Let's take a look at the character sheet. This is an example of an amateur player. In addition to the class level and fame, there are 3 types of stats: traits, skills, and knowledge. Traits are the more fixed aspect of the character. They are defined at the start of the game and represent personality. There can be both positive and negative traits. You can slightly improve your positive ones and minimize the negatives, but it takes a huge amount of experience points to do that. So, it's advisable to adapt your build to match your traits. I will talk about optimizing your build in another episode. Skills are probably the most important stats in the game. They define your ability with the instrument, and you can greatly improve them by training, performing, and gaining XP in several other ways. Timing is the ability to keep the pace steady when you play, and the accuracy in the subdivision of the beat. Technique represents how well you can play the instruments and is vital for the overall quality of your sound. Structure is the ability to follow the form of the music you are playing. Reading is about understanding the notes and being able to first sight play music from a chart. Interplay is the ability to listen to the people you are playing with and interact with them. It's very important when there is improvisation involved, but it's also important to create a good groove with the band and in general to adjust your timing and dynamics to the players you're performing with. Coordination is the ability to play with more limbs or fingers at the same time in an interdependent way. It's very much related to the genre you are playing, and it's specifically connected to some classes like drummer or pianist. For example, singers or trumpeters have intonation instead of coordination in their skills table. Knowledge indicates how well you know the different play style genre and other important expertise involving playing music and the various careers available in the game. It can be obtained by listening, studying and experiencing. Here you can have an idea of the character sheet at the start of the game. Notice that both class and fame levels are at 1. Traits are quite shaped already, but skills are very low. Knowledge can be higher than skills, since it represents what you listened, learned and experienced outside. Now I want to show you some features you can unlock by leveling up in your class. As a newbie, you can aim at playing your first simple song. At level 10, you unlock the band rehearse, which is the main co-op mode and a good source of experience points. Intermediate League unlocks the free gigs, which is already one of the best XP sources of the game. From level 30 on, you can start unlocking several sources of coins and experience that can lead you to become a pro player. As you can see, there is a column with estimated training hours required to reach every league. I just want to make you notice that it's much easier to progress with levels in the early game, and if you aim at the highest leagues, it's absolutely necessary to diversify your XP sources thanks to the features you progressively unlock. Certain builds allow you to get shortcuts, unlocking features before the level indicated, but they often include the abuse of marketing strategies or even straightforward cheats. You need to consider that many of these alternative paths end up destroying your career or even get you banned from the server for a long time. It's also very important not to confuse ability with fame, because they are not necessarily related. There can be incredibly good players, which are almost unknown, and on the other side, very famous poor players. This paradox, sadly, is very often connected to the genre you decide to spend your XPs on. Just players, you know what I'm talking about, right? We're gonna analyze fame levels and strategies another time, but if you're a newbie, you really shouldn't care about that. Alright, since this is the first episode of what could become a whole new series, I would love to have some feedback from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Right now I have an explosion of ideas in my head. I can guarantee you will see some pretty unique stuff in this channel. But I ask you to give me a clear sign if you enjoyed this content by leaving a like, fair enough, and maybe subscribing. The more people will subscribe, the more I will feel encouraged to keep going with this series, and the sooner I will upload my next video. Thanks for watching, see you soon. Ciao!